There are footballers who leave a mark because of what they win. And then there are those who leave a mark because of how they made you feel. Diogo Jota belonged to the latter. In the great, often chaotic world of modern football, filled with noise, ego, and spectacle, Jota moved differently. He was quieter than most, smaller than many, and less obsessed with the limelight than most of the stars he stood beside. But his game spoke with such clarity, such rhythm, such instinctive sharpness, that it was impossible not to be drawn in. He was the kind of player who didn't shout for your attention. He simply earned it, again and again, with honesty, effort, and something that felt very much like love. Born on December 4, 1996, in the riverside neighborhood of Massarelos in Porto, Portugal, Diogo José Teixeira da Silva was the kind of boy who chased footballs before he could tie his own boots. His beginnings were humble, his dreams straightforward. He didn't come from a football dynasty. He didn't explode onto the scene with headlines or agents or entourages. He grew, slowly, quietly, with intent. From the youth ranks at Gondomar to his breakthrough at Paços de Ferreira, his path was carved by hard work, not hype. You could see the hunger in his eyes and the calculation in his feet. There was something pure in the way he played, relentless pressing, quick feet, sharp finishes. He wasn't just trying to win matches. He was trying to prove he belonged. That desire led him from Portugal to Spain, when Atletico Madrid signed him in 2016. But he never played a game for them. Instead, he was loaned to FC Porto, where he sharpened his instincts against the best in the Portuguese league, and later to Wolverhampton Wanderers, where everything changed. In the black and gold of Wolves, under the guidance of Nuno Espirito Santo, Jota blossomed. He became essential. A striker who could play anywhere across the front line. A finisher who could create. A forward who could press. His work rate was exhausting. His goals were clean and clinical. And by the time Wolves had returned to the Premier League, Jota had made himself undeniable. He was the kind of player you didn't build a team around, you built it with. Liverpool took notice. And in 2020, Jurgen Klopp made the call. There was little fanfare when Jota joined the Reds. He arrived without the spotlight that typically accompanied new signings at Anfield. But within weeks, his name was on every fan's lips. He scored in his debut. Then again. Then again. A hat-trick against Atlanta in the Champions League. A run of clutch goals in the league. His movement was intelligent, his timing sublime. He didn't just join Liverpool, he accelerated them. He added teeth to a front line already filled with stars. He made defenses panic. He made the crowd roar. And perhaps most importantly, he made Klopp smile. But even more than the goals, it was the effort that defined Diogo Jota. He ran for everything. He tracked back. He played with bruises and bandages and never made excuses. When injury struck, because in football, it always does, he fought his way back. Quietly. Focused. Hungry. The fans adored him not just for what he did, but for how he did it. There was no drama. No vanity. Just dedication. When he scored, he didn't pose, he ran to the fans. When he missed, he didn't sulk, he sprinted back into position. He was, in many ways, the soul of the modern game. Fast, flexible, fierce, and fair. Internationally, he brought the same spirit. Wearing the Portuguese kit alongside legends like Cristiano Ronaldo and rising stars like João Felix, Jota never looked out of place. He played for Portugal with urgency, with pride, with humility. Whether it was Nations League fixtures or World Cup qualifiers, he gave everything. He never chased headlines. He chased results. His goals came often, usually with clinical simplicity, but his real gift was making space for others. He understood systems. He understood movement. He played with intelligence and instinct. And that made him invaluable. Off the pitch, he was a devoted family man. His longtime partner, Ruth Cardoso, was more than his support system. She was his home. They married in June 2025, just 2 weeks before tragedy would strike. Together they had 3 young children, who were the center of his universe. Despite the fame, the accolades, and the travel, Jota never let football consume his humanity. He played video games, shared simple dinners with family, and rarely made the press for anything outside the game itself. He was present, grounded, kind. The kind of man who remembered where he came from, and who he was playing for. But no amount of grace or discipline can shield you from fate. On the morning of July 3, 2025, the news arrived like a thunderclap. Diogo Jota, just 28 years old, had died in a car accident alongside his brother André in northwestern Spain. The details were chilling. A tire burst on a Lamborghini as they overtook another vehicle on the A52 motorway. The car flipped, caught fire, and there were no survivors. It was sudden, violent, unfathomable. A young man with so much left to give, gone, in an instant. The footballing world staggered beneath the weight of it. Flags were lowered across Portugal and Merseyside. Liverpool cancelled media appearances. Portugal's national team held back tears at training. Cristiano Ronaldo, a longtime teammate and friend, posted a photo of the two embracing. No caption, just heartbreak. Jurgen Klopp, now a former manager, was devastated. "It breaks me," he said in a statement. He was everything a manager could want. He gave everything. And he gave it with joy. At Anfield, flowers covered the Shankly gates. Scarves were tied along the railing. Children wept beside photos. Supporters stood in silence, many holding each other not just out of grief, but disbelief. Because Diogo Jota had never seemed fragile. He was tireless, resilient, indestructible in the way youth often feels. And now, impossibly, irreversibly, he was gone. But gone is not the end. Because the game he loved will not forget him. He will be remembered in the 20th minute of matches, his old squad number, when fans stand and clap and chant his name. He will be remembered in murals, in tributes, in the sudden flash of a diagonal run or a near-post finish. His name will live in the songs, the shirts, the stories passed from parent to child. And not because he was the greatest of all time, but because he played like he might become it. Because he gave everything. Because he loved the game. And maybe that's what hurts the most, the promise. The fact that he had so much left to give. That he was entering his prime. That his final match for Liverpool, scoring a late winner in a Merseyside derby, felt like the start of something, not the end. But life, like football, does not wait for closure. It simply moves, with or without us. And so we hold on to what we can. We remember his smile. We remember the way he celebrated goals like a kid on a playground. We remember his quiet nods after hard-fought wins and the way he picked teammates off the turf. We remember how he carried the dreams of a city, a country, and a family, without ever losing himself along the way. So now we say goodbye. Not because we want to. Not because we're ready. But because we must. Diogo Jota is gone. But the echo of his footsteps, the joy of his goals, the dignity of his life, that remains. In the end, it was never about how many trophies he lifted. It was about how many hearts he touched.